Scituate Board of Health, Monday, July 16th, Selectmen Chambers, 6 o'clock. Make a motion to accept the agenda and start the meeting.
Motion to accept the agenda.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Do you want to start off?
Sure. In advance of my report, I'd like to welcome Wendy to the Board of Health. She was just recently appointed. So I don't know if you wanted to just introduce yourself to folks.
Sure. My name's Wendy Alexiak. I live in real estate. I'm still a registered nurse. So with that, my experience with lawful areas of the Board of Health covers. I was in Scituate for 20 years, had 4 houses in Scituate, and love it. So,
Welcome.
thank you.
Okay, scheduled items, none. New business, election of Board of Health Chairman. So,
What do you think? How do you like to
I have no problem doing it again, if that's what you want. And I know you're out next year, right? After that year?
I think so. My term runs till...
So you are just finishing your first year of your next term, which is a 3-year term. So you have 2 years left, including this one.
There you go.
You know, out and bang.
There you go. Perfect. Perfect. Doing a good job. And that'll give you a little experience over there to see how it all works and goes. And
Oh, yeah.
Then you'll take over.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
So, exactly.
So then we'll make a motion.
Take a motion and keep you on board as chairman.
Effective.
Immediately.
All right.
Seamless, flawless.
Okay. So you would
Second.
if you-
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Congratulations, Scott. Continuing your role.
All right. Director's report.
So my first item was to officially welcome Wendy. So welcome a second time.
Thank you.
And then in terms of the active business of the office, we are knee-deep in camps. We've received 2 new camp applications in the last couple of weeks, both of which are, one is started this week and one is starting next week. So we are reviewing those application packages, working with the applicants, and then conducting inspections and on-site camp to make sure we can permit them accordingly. We are in the middle of beach season, as you all know very well. Beach sampling is ongoing. It's done every Tuesday. Results are received every Wednesday. As you all saw, we had one beach post swimming as the results received last Wednesday. So we went back out, we posted the beach no swimming. We went back out on Thursday, collected samples, received those results on Friday, which allowed us to reopen the beach for swimming. If we weren't so fortunate to have the updated results, we would continue that process. We could sample up to Friday so that we could get the results Saturday. We would report those results once received Saturday. And then if we then have to continue on, we would start, every day of the work week. We cannot sample Saturday into Sunday because we don't report results on Sundays. So next sampling is tomorrow. We will keep our fingers crossed, and you'll see the results come by email and then posted on our website on Wednesdays. It is also pool season, so all of our pools are permitted, opened. They're being periodically inspected, and then they're also required to submit laboratory analyses for various bacteria throughout the season on a regular schedule based on our report. So far so good. We have 2 active nuisance cases, which is one less than at the last meeting, so a little bit of success in that area. Food, we are still receiving temporary food permits on a weekly basis, multiple every week. So Joan has been really keeping us going. Food permitting spot checks throughout the season, depending on who's going to be there when. Whoever makes the decision on which Wednesday she's going to go check. Heritage Days applications are actually overdue. They were due on July 1st. We have received 26 applications to date, which is at least the largest number of permit applications received since I've been here. So this is by far the largest number. I think our previous number was 22. So similarly, we are, mostly Joe right now, is actively going through them, reviewing them, seeing what, if anything's missing, any things that need to be clarified. She reaches out to them. And then we work towards permitting so that on day of, all of our potential permittees will be inspected and then handed their permit. So we have food, grant work. With the end of the year comes the end of fiscal years for several of our grants. So we're currently working on year-end reports and financials for 2 grants. One for emergency preparedness through Region 4AB, and the other one, which is hoarding resources through Mass Housing. So we are closing both of those, and simultaneously we are working on applications for additional grants to both of those entities. Septic continues to be busy, as always. We have 4 new plans being reviewed, and those plans were received from July 3rd forward. We have 1 revised. Yeah. I think I've issued 4 permits today for ones that were ready. I sent comments out on newly reviewed plans for 3. I've been reviewing several O&M reports every day, or not O&M, Title V inspection reports daily. And then I think I have 3 certificates of compliance received, or as bills received since Thursday. So we're reviewing them to issue certificates of compliance. O&M reports, we have 4 that are outstanding in terms of no active maintenance contract. 3 of those 4 are new since the last time we met. So we have closed 1 out since the last met, 2 out since the last met. So again, some success in that area, which is nice. And then in terms of operations and maintenance related repairs, we have 1 currently outstanding, which is 1 less than our last meeting. So again, a little bit of success in that area. That's what I got.
All right.
It's a lot. The office is busy.
All right, old business, discuss septic betterment program.
Okay, so, need a package?
Yeah, I didn't bring mine, so.
Extra package? Extra package?
Since I've been home reading.
We've had a lot of time to do some homework, I think. In essence, what the previous configuration of the board had discussed at the last meeting was, in essence, getting you up to speed, providing you with these materials, which includes the state guidance document, all, I think, 93 pages of it, as well as several examples of how other communities run the program. And as you'll see, there's varying levels and degrees of detail or lack thereof, depending on how that town has decided to work within the confines of the program. So the goal of the last meeting was to provide you with those, at least you, 2 current and previous members of the board, provide you with those materials and get a former member, Steve's thoughts and input before he transitioned out, so he would have his opinions in place. And then subsequently providing those same materials to Wendy so that she could at least get started on getting up to speed on what it is we're going to be looking at and what it is we're going to be discussing today and at upcoming meetings. Because I figured we'll be discussing this at every meeting, making progress until we have it in place, similar to the way that we did private well regulations. What Joan and I have done since we last met was to kind of create, at least for ourselves, working on behalf of you, giving you some of our thoughts and input, was taking that 93-page guidance document and boiling it down to what it is this board is charged with, what questions this board has to answer, what decisions this board has to make, and what decisions are made in collaboration with other departments. So the treasurer collector has a role, assessor has a role, town accountant, finance director has a role. So we went through the first third together of the state document and put that together in a little bit of a bulleted summary with our thoughts on questions and things that you all might want to consider as we move forward. So I guess I will stop there temporarily.
Has any of the other boards looked at this or they talked about it or discussed it in the session?
So the treasurer collector is charged with getting the financing in place. So getting a loan from the state for the $200,000 that was set aside for town meeting. She's charged with and is actively working on that piece so that, hopefully in similar timeframes, the money will be in place, the program parameters will be in place for you folks, and you'll see in some of my comments is,
So I missed that. So we actually, the town borrows a lump sum from the state and then we dole it out in proportion.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep, the town essentially takes a loan and then provides loans to a certain number of residents based on the size of the loans for each resident.
Right, and how you determine it, however else, so.
That's
Correct.
right, that's right.
So at the end of the year, we take 200,000, we get 200,000, and we only use 100,000. Do we lose that, or do we have to refile for it the next year, or does it stay there until it's used?
So I'm not the financial guru, but the way I understand it, at least in a very simplistic form, is that the goal is that ultimately it becomes self-sustaining. So you initially borrow $200,000 at, I'll say, 2% interest that the town is charged, and then the residents are charged their portion that they borrow and put against their tax. It goes attached to their tax payments. That's charged, I believe, at a rate of 5%. So the idea being that over time, it becomes a self-sustaining lump of money. So that you can continue to offer the same benefit to folks beyond that first year or third year, fifth year, or whatever.
I can't see, so basically you can help 8 parties each year max.
That's right.
I can't imagine how you wouldn't have far more demand.
Agreed.
This is a problem that I deal with every single day, and baby boomers now who are retiring, it's terrible when you sit down and say to them, you have a cesspool. I mean, literally, I have 2 right now who are in this process, and they never counted on having to spend 20, 30 grand, So to me, the most interesting part, and I'm flying through this trying to find it, is whether or not you can roll it over, which I see there is some language about that in here. That would be a literally seismic shift to people who are trying to retire and need to install a septic system. And that is much of the town.
So when you say rollover, you mean, so let's say, one of your clients or,
Yeah.
a resident of any type, they put in their system using this program, they live in their home for 5 years, but they still have 15 years left. When you say roll over, does that mean transfer to the next homeowner? Is that what you're saying?
It does, and most people, there are very few people who proactively decide to go ahead and check their system. Most people think they have a functioning septic system. They do not understand the difference between a cesspool, and some cesspools actually pass, you know, but, so this will always come at the 11th hour, always. And what happens with betterments, because, you know, you have septic betterments and you have other types, you have, I had a listing on Pineview that had a sidewalk betterment. So, you know, it comes down to who's going to pay for that. Because when I first got into real estate, lenders would allow people to roll that into a payment, and most of them won't, and they see it now as municipal lien, which puts them in third position. So there's a lot of issues about, is the seller going to pay it off? Is the buyer going to? Sometimes we try to get them to split it. Sometimes, so anyways, this is like a daily issue in my life, with people trying to retire and need help. And this is the only way they could actually do it and not have it be, have them lose $30,000 when they're trying to retire. You know, if it becomes commonplace, that you can have the buyer take on the betterment.
And I think that's, ultimately, I think that's a decision that this board makes with input from the other relevant departments that are responsible with a portion of the program. So I can certainly ask the other departments what their thoughts are on that and where it, you know, can then give you their input.
I'm not sure, I'm reading all that, but I think the betterment program is someone that retired, not for someone retired.
Oh, well, I'm only bringing it up because that's when I'm seeing people who don't have the money,
When they're selling.
when they realize it. Most people have no idea, and most people aren't really looking to upgrade unless they're leaving. And even then, they're not looking to upgrade, so.
Yeah, or, you know, they've got sewage discharging to the ground.
Yeah, you want to see it fixed without a question.
Yeah. So failure or moving is what it comes up with.
And so the way what the program requires, the system has to be a failure. That's a state requirement. So the homeowner goes to move, they do a Title V inspection, it comes up as failure. That's something that they need to provide to all of you, is that the system is in failure, and that's what makes them eligible, is to have that documentation that it fails.
I hope I'm not talking too much. You can
No.
always say, shut up, Wendy, but well, the other things were like, how do you determine who's eligible? I mean, is it, like, that's a huge
Well,
issue.
that's part of the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is eligible? It's not just a handout for somebody that's got a second house in Florida, and, oh, geez, I don't want to put 30 grand out for my house that I'm selling.
Right.
It's more for somebody, as far as I'm concerned, that has a house, they're trying to live in the house, they ran into a problem, and they truly are, I don't want to use the word destitute, but they're financially strained. And this is a parachute for them. This is a
Yeah.
way that they can get a somewhat of a low-interest loan. The town can help them out. It's a betterment, and you can stay in your house and live in Scituate and still work in Scituate. Not as much as a cheap loan for somebody that's just looking for a cheap loan.
Yeah, well, again, I don't know that unless it absolutely all of a sudden fails one day in your yard, I don't know that people would even know.
Yeah, that's usually.
But, you know, to me,
That's usually
yeah,
the
yeah.
problem.
Yeah. You know, do they have, people who want a fixed income, this is like a huge blow. You know,
And we see that, you know, you mentioned the difference between a system working
Yeah.
and a system failing. So, you know, oftentimes I'm out there with Title V inspectors, or I'm out there with regular clerks, and the homeowners will come up and they'll say to me, I don't understand, you know, I have to be there when they're getting the bad news, that, you know, their system is failing, and, you know, the question really is, but I've had it pumped, I've done what I'm supposed to do, you know, I take good care of it, how could it possibly be failing? And the reason that we see a majority of the older systems failing is not because they aren't functioning,
right.
but it's because they're sitting in the groundwater table. because they were installed under different Title V regulations and times change and regs change. So, yeah, that question and that statement is pretty regular when we see failing reports. And it's usually at the 11th hour, as they already have a buyer, and this is a shock to the system. Absolutely. So those are, so speaking to the, how do you decide who?
Yeah.
That's one of the major things that the three of you are going to be charged to doing. We can certainly make our suggestions and recommendations. And there are, in the package, there are examples from other communities where they created, and Scituate back in '95 did this, they created a priority list, and a certain number of points, for lack of a better word, were given based on the level of risk, the public health risk. X number of points if you live on a barrier beach, and X number of points if you assess pool, X number of points. What's that? Yep, X number of points if you're near a public well or even a private well, if you're discharging to the ground surface. All those things kind of get right. And that's one of the big things that you three, now that we have our, on board, are
I
charged
think that
with
idea is a
figuring
great
out.
idea. More particularly, the more important idea is if there's a windfall of people that come to us.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you can systematically say, well, you're not really an emergency, but you are, but this fella here is going to keep the public water supply.
Right.
He's more important.
He's
Everybody's important, but
code red over here.
yeah, he's a priority.
Red versus orange.
Right.
Do we have anything from when we had the betterment program before, like that
This-
checklist?
So there's a very small piece of the Scituate Betterment Program from '95 that should be in.
Trying to think, was it in our,
Right here's where they mention this, the cumulative system.
yeah. I don't remember seeing it in our other packet. We're holding out.
I think it's in the original packages that we.
Okay, I have those.
I don't think I added it to those. We can lend you one right now.
Yeah, I have, if it was in that original packet, I have
Yeah.
that.
So there is so they, right here, they do a system.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so I think the way it was done here previously was that ranking system, which I think is a good idea. The other piece of that, which I think goes hand in hand, that I would recommend to you is with the expectation that we're going to have a lot of applicants at once. I think at least I would recommend that you consider having application windows, so that as opposed to, homeowner on Main Street applying on Monday, and getting approved because he's the first one in, and then we have an applicant that comes in on Wednesday and Friday, and the money starts to run out, but the one on Friday comes in, and he's more urgent, if you will, but we don't have the money for that. Because it became a first come, first serve. So I think.
Well, how do you feel with the office? Is it something that the board will do it bi-annually or do you do it annually?
So the communities that we've been able to find examples of that do it that way is they have two windows. So bi-annual. They have like first and third quarter. I think fourth quarter would be hard because you want to deal with it in fiscal years. But I think like sometime in first quarter makes sense, and sometime, right around January, February makes sense.
So it's like March 30th, September 30th.
That's what I would think would make sense.
How's that for the office? Although my idea for your, that's the end of summer, it's going to be a slower time.
So we have, I
I'm
think,
thinking September is probably actually a good time to have an extra workload.
if we have to have extra workloads, yes.
Yeah.
The fall would make the most sense.
Saying that by the
Because-
time, that's not.
Because
yeah.
November, December is our permitting season, and we are, aside from the things that come in that we have to deal with, we're reviewing and issuing approximately 400 plus permits. So yes, I think the, September, October window, the September window makes a lot of sense. I think next year, like once this is fully up and running for a year, we kind of live and learn. I think the, end of August, September, as we finish summer, September would be perfect.
Right.
And then,
Yeah, but that's the time to do it, you get it, so.
Right.
Right.
And then again, kind of in January,
January,
February, assuming we're not in a storm low.
That's, I don't, for me, I see people figuring it out in like February and March that they need this.
So that
That's
can work
when
out
it,
in the second-
yeah,
the second
that's
half.
when, so, I mean, don't you must see it just kind of die out when people, since there's so few moves later in the year.
Septic never dies out.
Yeah,
We issue approximately 110 to 120 permits a year, which means approximately 200 to 300 reviews of septic plans, and then we take on the as-built plan reviews, which is at least one per system. So we're reviewing, on average, 400 to 450 septic plans, if you will,
Yeah.
various versions of them throughout the year. So
Okay.
septic is consistent.
There's something like September 15th.
Yeah, I mean, or even, even earlier, like February, like what did you say,
September.
September and February, that
February,
makes
yeah.
sense. Because that
Well, I'm
would
just
also.
looking at it even 6 months, so it's not like,
Short
you
of
got 8
land.
months and then
Yeah, either.
4 on the other way, it's, well, why'd you do that?
Yeah, all right, so if we,
Or you go August 31st to February 28th.
right, so you set a window, you need to apply within, a X number of week window.
And then that's the deciding would be March 15th, so that would actually, if you had a month before to get the paperwork in, 6 months to process it. I guess if you have to work.
On its face, I think that works. I think the 2 windows makes a lot of sense, which will also allow you to prioritize, because if you think about it, as Wendy said, and as the money makes sense, we're looking at being able to help 8 people a year. So my hunch is that you take on 4 or 5 in that first window, and then leave, a certain number of slots open in that second window. And then if folks who are basically told to wait from the first one get bumped to the second one, and there are no other applicants, then they're in just a few months later. But otherwise, the process continues of prioritizing. So we have, just kind of to take a couple of notes, so we have so we have 2 application windows, I'll call it.
So like August 30th, February 28th, the end of each month.
And we would have to decide how long we give them to apply. So, can they apply between like February 15th and March 15th?
That's what I was thinking, August, right?
So
Based on
August 15th. Yep. To March. Yeah, it's March. Okay, so we'll kind of hold that as kind of our goal. Obviously, this first one may be a little skewed because of us ramping up the whole program.
one other question, could you make the money go further where, you have a couple parties that need the full assistance, but then, so you can spread it a little more, maybe there's some people that can, fund part of it, but, so you could help more families.
Right.
Absolutely,
Or individuals.
And I would anticipate that there might be some people, you folks may know better than me, but I anticipate there are some folks who in their head say, you know what, I can afford $10,000. I was prepared for $10,000.
Yeah.
But I'm not prepared for 25. So they make the choice to pay for 10 and finance through the town 15. Or let's say somebody lives on the Squashit Pond, has a failed system, they've been paying the sewer betterment, or sewer's available for them, and the sewer connection's only gonna cost, I'm making this up, $6,000. We can fund a sewer connection using the septic betterment. So again, that would allow us to help more folks. Knowing Scituate, systems tend to be pretty expensive because we don't have an awful lot of gravity systems in good material. We tend to see a lot of pump chambers, a lot of innovative alternative technology, all of which costs more. But those types of cases would absolutely allow us to help more people early.
So do you want to run down this list in order, or is there anything that sticks out, or is there anything you might want us to discuss tonight?
So, in essence, what I had done, or what we had done, was to take basically as far as we got was the first 30 pages of the 90-page document, and kind of boiled it down with the basics, and you'll see kind of my questions embedded in, whether they be to you or to other departments, so that we didn't forget as we move through the program, certain things to look at, like fourth bullet down, for example, it's up to you to set the application fee, which is different from plan review fee. And typically, according to the guidance document, it's a typical application fee of $200. So it's up to you to set even those very basic things.
I'm gonna kind of chuckle a little, we're trying to help somebody who doesn't have the money.
No, $200.
You're charging an application fee, it's like, it just, to me, I always,
But does that 200 can go into that part of the betterment?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that part is eligible. The one piece that I'm not sure is eligible, and you'll see my note embedded in here asking that question, is there's, I think it's called the betterment agreement. That has to be recorded at the registry of deeds, and it's a $76 filing fee. And I saw some language that made me think that wasn't reimbursable, if you will, that was a fee that the homeowner had to pay. So that would be a question that I would hold and ask the state and say, this is a list of questions that my board has or that I have, acting on their behalf. Can you help me run through this list of questions? And that's one of them for me is, yes, it says all aspects of the program are eligible for your reimbursement, but the language that I saw specific to that made me think that was excluded from the program. $76. Still, $76 will add up. There's several things, to get, several things that the program requires. So example, the must-haves are, you must live at the property. So you can't have it be for your third home, you live in Florida and you come here, 5 weekends a year. It has to be you have to physically live at the residence that you're trying to upgrade.
I agree with that. Again, it's not somebody in dire strait, you have two
Right.
rooms. That's unfortunately, it might be tough to support two homes, but some people don't have anything. So,
Yeah, so primary residence.
Yeah, primary residence, you have to live there. And then there's,
And I saw something in here too that Board of Health considered charging for the payment fee, I think that was up on the top of it. I can't see it there. That's, if they pay it off, they're gonna go back in the pot, and that's awesome, we're here to help you, so why? Come on, help back. I mean, I'm not a business guy, I'm not a banker, I don't have a pot to go, trying to help you. Yeah.
And that's-
You can
and
pay it
that's-
off,
yeah.
and that comes down to the thing too, if you sell your house, the money goes in, it's done, it's clear, boom. Over, betterment's over, you clear with the town, the new homeowner's got a clean slate.
and that's where I think the treasurer collector and the assessor will come in, because in some instances, again, this is not my area of expertise, but in some instances, they want liens cleared, and in other instances, they may not require loans to be cleared, so I think those are the kinds of things that I would ask, those departments for input, provide that back to you, and then, ultimately, you guys make that decision.
I know, I read a couple of them, and actually here, the town of Norton, loans paid back early without penalty.
And that to me, like, makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense, why penalize people for, winning
Trying
the
to pay it off.
lottery and, being
Yeah,
able
or
to,
just selling their home.
to be able to make
Just
it
trying to
work.
sell a home, maybe they pass away, a family's disposing of the property, that's it, it's not going to they sold the house, it's gonna get paid,
I think the reason that sometimes comes into play, and I might be wrong, is they're counting on X amount of money from that loan to come in, and that's why.
That's what supports the program
Right.
moving down the line.
Right, so, if we're in a position to quickly turn that loan to somebody else, it's not as impactful as it is if you loan somebody money and you don't make any money back, so that it's there for the next.
With no interest being
Yeah,
paid, it
right,
doesn't really
right.
support the program.
That's the feed that keeps the program, that's the nut that turns to keep feeding it.
So the
It sounds
idea-
crazy,
yeah,
but-
so the idea
No, I
being-
understand it, I get it, but
Yeah.
it's.
So if I borrow $20,000 tomorrow from the program, and I go through the process, I get it, and 3 weeks later, somehow miraculously, I pay that off, the program itself and the future residents don't benefit because no interest has been paid. And I think the detail in it
The money still
was,
goes back in the pot, so it's there.
yes,
Right.
and I think
The
the
principal's not charged, you just haven't made it, you know,
Right.
Right, and I think the detail was, if I remember reading it right, the specific detail was a prepayment penalty if paid off before the first loan payment with interest is made.
Yeah.
So that you've at least paid a smidge of interest, very technical term, smidge, of interest. If you pay it off after one tax payment, that option I think kind of went away. But that was the new ones. And those are your decisions to make, with input from.
It seems crazy to have a lot of fees. My own opinion. Keep it simple. Pay it off, we're happy, thank you. Glad we were there with the money owing it, got our money back. Done. The money back, and the someone else can use what they have.
I think a couple of the other things that, the state is very clear on what's allowed, what's not allowed, only residential properties. So, if you have a restaurant that happens to be on septic and you fall under hard times, this program is not the right program for you. You have to find something else to work. So it's merely just, it's for residences. And those are things that, the board doesn't get a choice in its health program, actually. So, kind of my thought was a few things, and I had mentioned to two of you at the last meeting, and you all restated here, since we're now kind of moving forward with the details. And that's, as you go through the material on your own, you have questions you want us to get answers from the state, another department, or things that you want us to build into the eligibility requirements, or whatever the case may be. Shoot us a note as, the day goes on, as the week go on, and we can build it all in on a rolling basis, so that I can make, one master phone call to the state and a whole bunch of questions at a time, or, walk over to the treasurer or the assessor and say, hey, we're working on this program, I know you know about it, what are your thoughts on these things? And give them time to kind of digest and participate.
Is there a drop dead date for this loan money that you've secured? And do you have to reapply for it again? So how do you?
That I don't know the answer to.
Oh, okay.
So I will put it on our list.
So it's probably
Or
the,
refund, not refund in that sense, but refund the pool money.
Renew the grant?
Renew, that's a great word. The funding.
And can we get more? I mean, I feel like, do you know that if there's a ceiling of 200
I
per
believe-
town?
Yeah, I
or-
believe it's,
yeah.
yeah, the state will only lend a maximum of $200,000.
And that's
I
what
don't
they
know what
voted
that
on,
time period
right?
is. Yep, and that is what town meeting voted
Oh,
on,
okay.
was the maximum of 200. So what I have is, does the town need to reapply, and or renew the funding, and if so, how frequently is that occur? Can I cover that? Okay.
So someone is already starting that process.
Yes.
The treasurer.
Yes, treasurer collector, her office is charged with doing that, and yeah, she started on that road.
Now, assuming I should go up the last row, the organization started, I'm sure we'll get that.
Treasurer. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, that's why I kind of threw it out there as a question and
Well,
the
that's kind of
answer.
saying, to me, it seems up to,
Well, I know
we
they
can
have
provide
this
any of
here.
them, 5, 10, 15, 20. I think you have to have a minimum and a maximum, and if someone says, geez, I can do that.
And do it at 10.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
as long as they're aware, the longer they stretch it out, the more
Expensive.
the money
Right.
it's gonna cost.
Well, on this one here,
But
it
if it takes you
shows,
20 years to pay it back, that's fine with me, that's cool, but if you can do it in 5, awesome. That's great, still glad we're here, we can help.
and that's how it was here. 5 years, 3%, 10 years, 4, 10 or 20, 5%.
Mhm.
Well,
Right.
I believe that the town has already made the decision of the interest rate.
Oh, the rates.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
5%
5%
flat.
flat. That's my understanding, I would absolutely double check, but I believe that's the plan from the other departments, is that that's the rate.
Okay.
But I will double check. So my thought was also, because I realized, when we got as far as page 30, in our office, was to, kind of continue that summary and send it along to you, of the state program, and then also build in the questions, the comments, the examples from other communities, and kind of throw it away, go back and forth. Whether you like, email with you as individuals if you have individual questions or needs, and then collectively, sitting here in each meeting, it's like we did for the private calls.
Right, yeah, saying that. So you don't have any emails, you have to be very careful with emails, you can't have a discussion.
I did read about that. It's like a quorum without a, yeah.
The only time we can is to determine a meeting date,
Yeah.
but if Jen sends out a group email, really shouldn't
You respond to me.
respond to, yeah, not the group, because then it becomes a group discussion, and no matter how innocent it may be,
It should be you.
someone else it may not be so innocent.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
I'll be mindful of that.
yeah, it's almost reading, I suppose.
Yep, read and ignore, or read and respond to me, or you can, read, respond to me and Joan, because the two of us aren't board members, so, just, so as a reminder. So yeah, so you'll see, as you saw on Friday, I sent a flurry of information your way, which I typically do. I try to send out meeting information on the Thursdays before the meeting to give you guys the weekend and then a little some to either review and get back to me with any questions or comments or needs. And then worst case scenario, when weeks are really busy, you see it Friday afternoon as I'm trying to finally slip out the door for the weekend myself. So.
If I-
Yeah. But try to get them to you Thursday, that way if there's follow-up, that we can do free Friday.
So do we have, when do we get together to try to work through this? Is it just at the meetings?
Just the meetings.
Okay.
I mean, you can certainly, call me, or come in and meet with me, to kind of work through things that you would recommend. Like, for example, let's say you wanted to take a shot at the checklist of eligibility. You know, you took the 6 examples we had plus the old Scituate one, and you wanted to come up with a checklist, you know, or a ranking sheet, if you will. You know, you can certainly do that, work through it with me, we can have a discussion, and then, you know, we can bring it to the table, and have this group discussion here. But, in terms of group work, it's all right here.
Okay.
Does anyone have any comments on the Benjamin program, or not, just questions?
The only problem, if you let it go too far out, too many years, you're not going to be able to help very many people. You have $200,000 and they're 20-year term loans. That's like 10 people, and then you get $200,000 every year.
That was actually,
Yeah, because if
my
it's
question,
one,
I don't
if
have
it's
that
one pool of
answer.
200,000, you're gonna go through that, and then for the next 19 years, you know, you won't have anybody else that you can help.
That's the money trickles in. That's where I'm not a banker. and I-
Yeah, well, no, but you're not, I mean, yeah, the payback's gonna be pretty slow, so.
It's the balance of being a financial guy and trying to help people. And that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, I mean, I would think you would be trying to help as the largest quantity as possible.
And that's where we saw in one of the towns where they did more interest the further out you went, and that's probably.
Yeah, so you
Yeah,
said
some more
the
of that
town
money.
already said that, that would be a good deterrent.
That's what you said, that was the selectman who said that.
I believe that's the value set by the financial folks here.
Okay.
But I will
Yeah.
double check.
Yeah, that's.
Can I have you state your name and address?
Sure, Steve Alexiak, 616 Hatherley.
That's my husband.
Oh.
Full disclosure. He hasn't looked at any of this, but he's sitting
No,
there.
it's-
Oh, we got- we got too much participation here. This is-
No, that's why I was like, I need to
I got
disclose,
two
that's my
question
husband.
one. All right.
No, it's all good.
Did you have anything, Mr. McDonald?
No, this time.
Okay.
So what we'll do, is I'll continue down the road of, you know, creating that small summary with, you know, our collective questions and comments and suggestions, for the state betterment program, as well as, you know, moving along, you know, going through the other town examples, providing them to you, and then also, you know, taking in your comments, questions, thoughts, suggestions, and putting it together. That's kind of what our office plan is.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Anything else?
So we need to continue this to,
Do we have to make a motion?
No,
All right.
we'll continue to have this discussion, you know, just like we did with the private wells, we'll, you know, carry it as a discussion, until we get to the point where you would get to a vote.
All right.
Yeah.
And administration invoices approvals and meeting minutes.
So, we haven't, finalized the meeting minutes, unfortunately, we're close, but not quite there yet. Believe it or not, despite the flurry of, POs last week, we do have a couple this week. So, Wendy, at each of the board meetings, we ask you to review, and sign off on purchase orders. Obviously, answer any questions you have before you sign off. We do it as a group.
Ralph.
Busy guy.
I know.
It's a bit.
I have, but it was more, like the K-9 police board, those types of things, not a town or municipal.
Will you do an introductory to Board of Health, and they still do that, with the state, and they, I remember when I got on the board, and we went over
Oh, yeah.
nuances of the board. Did they-
I have not seen that.
It was
Um,
very interesting,
Interesting,
it was
I bet.
good, and it was
Yeah.
one of the things, as I said to you about the email, that was something I wouldn't have thought of, but at the meeting, you're like, oh, yeah. And as they said, like, the three of us,
Yeah.
but we live in a small town, we're off track. You may happen to run into somebody, and they said, it's not against the law, you're not gonna break open meeting if you run into somebody, like at a cocktail party or at the movies or
Yeah.
something, and they always said, be cordial, be polite, we're all humans, you just can't discuss Board of Health stuff. That's taboo, so, you know.
I will not bring it up when I see you at Shaw's.
You know, it's little stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, as we go through things, there's certain times we make motions, and some of them are like, when we open meeting, we made a motion, so almost that, almost try to find not do, which is a motion. And seconded isn't a vote. A seconded, in most cases, gives time for discussion. And if I'm saying something that you really understand, let me know. I'm just
No,
trying
no.
to boil it down.
No,
And that brings it to a spot that it can be discussed between the board members. Just because you second it doesn't mean you're voting for it or not voting for it. It opens it up for
to the
discussion.
table, okay.
And then at that point, we can discuss it, and when the chairman calls for a vote, at that point, you know, it's either yea or nay, and it's okay to go against the grain. Sometimes we do, and sometimes we're unanimous, and it is what it is. There's nothing personal about it, it's just.
That is your opinion.
Yeah.
Different opinion, and we gotta move on, because sometimes we'll have 3 or 4 things in the agenda, so we gotta, you know, that's part of what it is. We may not agree all the time, so it's not a bad thing. Yeah, but, yeah.
I was just gonna say, and our goal too is, it's been kind of a flurry of activity for the last week, just kind of pushing papers at you.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you know, the goal is just, you know, when anybody starts, is to, you know, have you come in and meet with us at a time that works for you. And then we can kind of go over in general, like, all the different topics that we cover, the types of things that you'll see, you know, at the meetings, just to kind of get you up to speed as to what you'll see, you know, kind of the nuances of some of the codes that, you know, that may come up. You aren't necessarily all too familiar with yet, but we'll get there. So we can
learning
go over,
curve.
right, so we can go over all of that stuff.
Okay.
We have like 16 or 17 topics that could come before you, certainly come before us, so we can teach you this. Yeah,
Maybe, excellent, thank you. I do have a question, are we supposed to sign on the back also?
No,
Because
just
this is
the-
sign here and sign here.
I think.
Oh, I think that was just.
Oh, okay, all right. There we go.
Yep. And you said the meeting notes aren't ready?
Correct.
Okay. So make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.